I'm James, and today I'm going to look at something I picked up very cheap off Temu. I think I paid something like $2.50 for it, and I just thought, you know, as a little prop device, it's going to have some uses. It's the deck of many things. Now I know immediately people are going, oh, that's a campaign ruiner, and if I'm honest, I actually agree. It's definitely very much an old school rules type item. It was introduced, a lot of people think, in the AD&D DMG. It actually precedes that. It was in the Greyhawk book prior to that. And like I say, it's legendary for wrecking campaign. And I'll show you why with it. Now this is actually the full 22 card deck. Obviously you could take out the cards if you're playing with the smaller deck, but some of the cards are massively powered. So the Void, your soul escapes your incapacitated body and is contained in an object guarded by powerful beings in a place of the DM's choice. A wish spell cannot restore your soul but reveals the location of the object. Draw no further cards. Interestingly, a little note with that is in the earlier editions that actually made the pack disappear as well, probably so that people couldn't draw the wish card. So yeah, that's going to be really powerful in a scenario. The Vizier is another classic campaign wrecker, but from a different perspective. Within 1 year of drawing this card, you can ask a question in meditation and receive a truthful answer that helps solve a problem or dilemma. The knowledge comes with wisdom on how to apply it. And that's a campaign ruiner, isn't it? I mean, some of the others actually I think are quite good. I mean, the Throne, okay, I'm not too sure about game proficiency and persuasion and a double proficiency bonus on checks with it, but the second half also gain rightful ownership of a small keep somewhere in the world currently held by monsters which you must clear out before claiming as your own. Things like that are okay. Now they are nice cards, and they're, you know, they're coated plastic. So I've picked them up. How can I incorporate them into my campaign? Because I don't want to use them as the rules are. Well, I sat and thought about it. This is typical of me. I'll buy it and then think about it. So the first thing they could be is a cult item. You know, a god or goddess of gamblers is desperately searching for them. Yeah, is that a good thing or a bad thing? You could play around with that. You could cut the effects down to be a bit more minor. So I'll tell you what, let's give them a shuffle. And we'll try this on the fly. I haven't rehearsed this bit, so this might be interesting. So okay, so we've got the Void, predictably. So body escaping the, sorry, soul escaping the body, and contained in an object guarded by powerful beings. Well, obviously we could cut that one down to less drastic, removing the bit about the wish spell, so they become mindless. You could have it for a set period, or that could be a nice little side quest to get the character back. Skull. This isn't going well with this, is it? You summon an avatar of death to attack you within 10 feet. Fights until you or it reaches 0 hit points, then disappears. If anyone helps, they also summon an avatar. Creatures slain by the avatar can't be restored to life. Well, the obvious with that is to cut down the power of that creature. And straight away that now becomes a minor one. We'll do one more. Star. Increase one of your ability scores by 2. Cannot exceed 20. Sorry, can exceed 20 but can't exceed 24. That becomes a temporary bonus. Maybe it lasts for a day, a month, a year and a day. You know, let's go for a nice fantasy type one. That would work. So you could do it that way. But how are players going to feel? Are they going to feel a bit, yeah, we're not getting the full experience of this? So what else could we do with it? Well, what about having an NPC absolutely desperate to find these, to break a curse? Now it could be, particularly if wish magic's very rare, he's desperate for these cards because he knows that's the only way to break a curse on his family. Now that could lead to a fascinating bit when you actually get to the NPC getting the cards. Is he going to risk it all going wrong and everything falling apart? What if he gets his children to pick? telling them what to do if they get the wish spell. That would be an interesting moral dilemma for the PCs. So that could work. That would also work with the culter after it. So it starts tying in that way. What about if they became non-magical? That's another option. So you actually could have these gamblers using them in gambling dens. I mean, I'd need to create a game for that. Not quite sure how I would do that. I'm kind of guessing a push your luck type thing. And what you could do, Brainwave comes up with that. So negative cards, like the -2 penalty, that scores perhaps you 1 point. But if you then get cards like the dungeon or the void, which predictably is the one time I haven't got it, they end your game and you lose automatically. But anything positive, like the comet or the vizier, score you perhaps 2 points. So you have to keep going, and basically gamblers push their luck until they get a result where they want to stop at, or they get the really negative cards. So we'll have a try. So I choose my first card. In fact, you could even make it, to tie it more into the mythology, that they have to decide how many cards they're going to have. So my gambler decides they're going to have, let's go for, we'll let people take plenty in this. We'll say they can take up to 6, and I'm going to go for the full 6. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we've got a -1 already. The key, now that's positive, so that's now +1 we're on. Skull, that's negative, so we're back to 0. The star, so that's positive, we've got 2 points. The throne, that's positive, we're at 4 points. And the fates, so again positive, 6 points. That is almost definitely going to be a winning hand. So the next player is now going to, that 6 is going to be a lot to beat, so they go for the full 6 again. Let's see what happens. The void, straight away they're out. So you could play it where they have to commit beforehand, or you might decide that they're going to do it as they go. But obviously the longer they go, the more they're pushing their luck. So that would make a little atmospheric game for some of your NPCs and PCs to be playing in a tavern. You could use it for fortune telling as well. Okay, so let's imagine they visit the old fortune teller. Now, one problem I think with this is the fact that the cards aren't really reversible. So I'm going to come up with a way of doing that. I'm going to reverse about half of them and give them a shuffle. And what we'll do when we draw them, we'll draw them from the bottom of the deck. And if they come up reversed, it's the opposite effect. So the PCs ask for, let's have a look. Let's pick an example. They want to know the whereabouts of a local dragon, and they ask the fortune teller, or they may just ask for their own fortune. So let's see what we get. So we'll say they go for 3 cards. So the first card is flames, but it's reversed. So a powerful devil becomes your enemy. Okay, so I'm going to use that as a supernatural being helps them. Next card is the skull. So the avatar of death. Okay, so we've got a supernatural creature. Perhaps now the dragon, if we're using the dragon, kills an ally of the PCs. And the third one is reversed as well, the void. Boy, was I glad we're not drawing this for the actual normal use. So wait a minute, we've got somebody being killed, but the soul escapes through the help of the angel, or whatever supernatural being you want. Look at that, we've actually generated quite a significant event there. We'll try that one again with 3 different cards, and we'll see what we get. So we'll do this as just the PC's general, how are we, what's going on. So we've got a reversed ruin. Okay, so they're going to avoid ruin. So the most obvious bit, they're going to gain wealth. Next card is a reversed dungeon. Okay, so perhaps the characters are in a position where they're not particularly well off. Perhaps they've got debts. They look like they're going to end up in prison, but all of a sudden they come into money. They're out of prison. And the last card, also reversed, is not quite sure how to pronounce that, Uriel, and it reverses a curse. So perhaps the whole reason was there was a curse. But what if there wasn't? Can we come up with a better story? So it's a blessing then. So we get a blessing which keeps them out of prison, and they become wealthy as a result. Okay, that's an interesting little one. So you can see we can play with that and get some interesting results. Now, the one thing I am definitely going to do with this is I'm going to draw some inspiration from the Bond film Live and Let Die with solitaire. Now, let's imagine we have a thieves guild. Yeah, it kind of works, doesn't it, for this? And you have their fortune teller. So the PCs seek help. What does the fortune teller advise the boss to do? Star. Increase one of their ability scores by 2. So we're not going to use that, but that's going to give me the inspiration. That's definitely a positive. I want you to help them. Let's give them aid. Let's make it easier for them. Yeah, that worked. Now, what if the PCs come back? What do we now get? The Vizier. We're going to give them good advice. This is definitely a positive one. We'll do one more because they still haven't achieved it. And the Throne. Okay, gaining proficiency in persuasion. Okay, and the gaining a building, but it has to be cleared out. That I might even look towards. What if we said that the Thieves Guild will now shelter the PCs? It'll give them access to safe houses. We're going off in completely random directions from a simple set of cards. Yeah, we could do most of that just with dice rolls, things like that. But to add a bit of atmosphere to the game, I think we've got something quite useful there. And let's be honest, £2.58. You know, you've got something you could use there. So I don't know if that's been useful to you. I hope it has. Let me know in the comments, and if you've got any really good ideas for how to use something like this, I'd love to hear them because I want to use them as well. See you soon.